The silence of the house was its own kind of sound, a low hum in my ears as I waited for the final click of my parents' bedroom door. Down in the basement, a single bare bulb illuminated my world. It wasn't just a basement, it was a sanctuary, a cool, concrete-scented cocoon where Stephen could melt away and someone else could be born. This was where I kept my treasures, a collection of secret histories stolen from the women in my life. My mother's old perfume, my sister's forgotten skirts, a pair of heels from a neighbor's yard sale. For a year, this was where I practiced, but practice was over. Tonight was real. The ritual began. The slip of silk panties against my skin was a quiet promise. Then the bra, its clasp a small, difficult puzzle my fingers had finally mastered. I chose a simple black turtleneck sweater and a blue denim miniskirt that felt daringly short. I sat before a cracked mirror, my tools laid out like a surgeon's. The foundation softened the hard lines of my jaw, and the eyeliner created a delicate wing that made my eyes look wider, softer. A deep red polish, applied with a trembling hand, made my fingers look elegant and strange. Finally, the 4-inch black platform shoes. They made me tall, unsteady, powerful. A spritz of perfume, and she was here. I took a deep breath, grabbing the simple purse from a hook on the wall. The boy who came down the stairs was gone. I didn't just wander the streets tonight. I had a destination, a purpose. His name was Mark. We met in a quiet park downtown, under the soft glow of an old-fashioned street lamp. He was an American man I had met online, a painter with kind eyes and a voice that felt like a warm blanket. When he saw me, his face didn't show shock or confusion. It showed a quiet appreciation that made my stomach flutter. "Stephen," he said, his voice low and gentle. Then he smiled. "You look beautiful." He didn't try to take my hand right away. He just walked beside me, his presence a shield against the world. He pointed out constellations, talked about the color of the city lights, and asked me about my day. He made me feel normal, more than normal, cherished. Later, back at his small, clean apartment that smelled of turpentine and coffee, the city felt a million miles away. The air was thick with a quiet intimacy. He never pushed, never grabbed. He sat on the edge of his bed and just watched me as I looked around his space. "Can I?" he asked, his hand hovering near my face. I nodded, my heart pounding. His fingers, rough with calluses from his work, were incredibly gentle as they traced the line of my cheekbone. He wasn't touching a mask, he was touching me. He leaned in and kissed me, soft and slow. It wasn't a hungry kiss, but a kiss of discovery. We lay down on the bed, and his hands explored the shape of me through the fabric of my clothes. He unzipped my shoes and rubbed my aching feet. His lips found the arch of my neck, and a shiver went through my whole body, a frisson of pure, unadulterated acceptance. He undressed me slowly, piece by piece, folding each garment and setting it aside as if it were precious. There, in the dim light of his bedroom, with no part of me hidden, he just held me. He made love to the soul inside my skin, whispering things that stitched together the frayed parts of me. For the first time, Stephen and the girl from the basement were not two people, but one, held safely in the arms of this gentle man. The confidence he gave me felt like armor. A week later, he suggested we go out again. He said, "Let's just drive, see the city." I dressed again, this time with more daring. A red dress that hugged my frame, darker makeup. When he picked me up, his eyes held that same warmth. We drove through the humming streets, the windows down, the night air cool on my skin. I felt invincible with him beside me. Then, at a red light, a car full of young men pulled up next to us. They honked, and I smiled, waving like I had on my first night out. The light turned green, but they didn't move. They followed us. My stomach tightened. "Look at that," one of them yelled, his voice slurring. "Nice legs." Mark put a protective hand on my knee. Just ignore them, honey." But they pulled closer, their headlights flooding our car. I could see their faces now, twisted in a mix of curiosity and contempt. "Hey, wait a minute," another shouted, his friends laughing. "Is that a dude? What is that?" The words hit me like stones. The beautiful illusion shattered. The red dress felt like a costume, the makeup like a painted lie. I was no longer a mysterious woman, I was a freak in a cage. My hands started to shake. Mark swore under his breath and made a sharp, sudden turn down a side street, losing them. He drove in silence for a few minutes before pulling over in a dark, quiet cul-de-sac. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice strained. I couldn't speak. I just stared at my hands, at the dark red polish on my nails. They looked like a stranger's. He took me back to his apartment. The safe haven from last week now felt different, charged with a new, uncomfortable tension. He poured me a glass of water, his movements jerky, the silence stretched, thick and suffocating. "Stephen," he finally said, not looking at me, maybe this isn't a good idea." "What?" "This," he gestured vaguely at me, at the dress, the makeup, going out. "It's dangerous, what they said." "It's not about them," I said, a tear finally breaking free and tracing a path through my foundation. "It was about us." He sighed, running his hand through his hair. He looked tired. He looked defeated. "I know, it was a lot." He finally met my eyes, and the warmth was gone. In its place was something I couldn't name. Pity? Fear? "I think," he said, the words coming out slowly, carefully, "I think I just want Stephen tonight. The real you. Not all of this." "All of this?" I looked down at the red dress. "Mark, this is the real me. It's all the real me." A heartbreaking silence fell between us. He didn't understand. Or maybe he did, and he just didn't want it. The acceptance I had felt, the love that had felt so profound, was conditional. It was for the fantasy, safe within the four walls of his apartment. It wasn't for the real world with its real dangers and its real ugliness. He loved the art, not the artist. I stood up, my platform heels feeling clunky and ridiculous. I should go. He didn't try to stop me. Walking home, the city lights blurred. Each click of my heels on the pavement was a lonely echo. The thrill was gone, replaced by a deep, aching void. I was no longer getting waves or honks. I was just a strange figure moving through the shadows, drawing weary, confused glances from the few people still out. I passed a darkened storefront and saw my reflection. A boy in a red dress with tear tracks on his face. Not a girl, not a beautiful creation, just Stephen, alone. And I learned the hardest lesson of all, that you can't build your home in another person's approval, because they can evict you without a moment's notice. The only safe place to live is inside your own skin, no matter how uncomfortable it feels.